interesting. All from a mobile phone poll. And they begin to start working on these issues.
Newsday from the BBC World Service. Alan Kasuja, Nola McGovern with you. Now, 4 Eritrean Catholic bishops have published a letter criticizing living conditions in the country, a rare and some say brave move in one of the world's most tightly controlled states. Many of the hundreds of migrants who drowned off Lampedusa last year were from Eritrea. The leaders are careful not to condemn the government directly, but they describe the country as desolate because so many people had fled or were in prison or the army. They also talk about a lack of freedom of speech and lack of rule of law, as well as economic hardships facing the population. And joining me now from Los Angeles is Daniel G. Mikael, who is the chairman of the opposition Eritrean Youth Solidarity for Change. Great to have you on Newsday. This letter is quite significant, some people have said. Do you agree?
Yes, I do, because in Eritrea, which is a tightly controlled state, the wall of fear and silence is kind of, for the first time, we can say, being broken.
Traditionally, what has been the role of the Catholic Church in Eritrea? Has it had the freedom to express itself, or is this a break from that general tradition or the role of the Church itself?
Historically, not only the Catholic Church, but all the other churches, mainly the Orthodox Church, which is the major one, the Protestant Church, and other minority churches, have always served as these spiritual leaders of the entire country. But over the last, especially the last 15 years, they have been systematically silenced. And specifically, the Catholic Church about 14 years ago published a similar letter addressed to the general public, kind of criticizing the political situation of the country. So this is coming almost 14 years later to tradition, but there is also a wall of silence that kind of silenced everyone.
Yeah. What about the timing of the letter itself? What's your reading on that?
The timing of the letter is actually in conjunction with the Eritrea's Independence Day. And of course, it's a moment to reflect. Eritrea supposedly have been independent for the last 23 years, but Eritreans haven't experienced freedom, so to speak. So the timing is that, citing the economic, political, and social status of the country, they took this opportunity, and recently Eritreans have suffered a tragedy in Lampedusa, Italy, where over 360 young people have drowned. So the timing is all related to that. But it was on the occasion of Independence Day, reminding the public and, I guess, softly, carefully not condemn it, but softly criticizing the government as well.
Will it have an impact, very briefly?
Yes, this is a major milestone in the opposition movement. There is a silent opposition and the vocal opposition. Those of us who are lucky enough to live in countries where voicing one's opinion is allowed have been saying this loudly for many years now.
Okay.
But inside the country, this is a milestone, and I think this is a sign of things yet to come.
Thank you very much. And we tried to reach the Eritrean embassy here in London, as well as the government in Asmara, for a comment or reaction, and no one was available to comment.
I met so many young Eritrean men when I was in Malta. Some of them only teenagers, not really men, even 13, 14, 15 years of age. Just seeing a tweet from Gabriel De Benedetti, who is Reuters political correspondent. Big old line in New York for a Hillary Clinton signing that isn't for another 12 hours.
Wow.